Bismillah Rabbana Atina Ar-Rahmani Rabbana Ejiri merja yonga teka yampisa Zamanu merja yonga teka yampisa Kanigala mujiri woya burbisa Ura solam jiri woya burbisa Ainai nida nigaba.
Okay, so now that I know it's actually going to work, I might just walk you through a bit of the milling process. So what you do once you have this first pass is you'll rotate the log 180 degrees so the flat surface is sitting on the bed. Now, not only does that make the log more stable, it also means that you could potentially, if you wanted to slab the entire log or go through and through, you could slab it all the way down to the bed. So you could get all of the cuts you want to make without adjusting that log again. Now, another way of milling your log is to make it more sort of dimensional. So by that I mean roughly square 4 sides. So you can make your 2x4s, your 4x6s. I don't know what a standard imperial thing is, but you know, your standard sort of sizes you get in your hardware store. So to do that, you would want to be making your log into a cant. And basically what a cant is when your log is starting to approach a square beam pretty much. So you'll take a pass on the top, pass on the bottom, you'd rotate it obviously to do that, a pass on the sides, and you'll be left with a square beam, and that's called a cant. So this particular log, it's pretty small, it's got a lot of sort of branches and things coming out of it. So it's not ideal for making any slabs, so I'm going to be making a cant out of it and taking at least fairly dimensional timber. Okay, so I got the camera so you can see this thing here, so you won't be able to see my face, but what this here is the sort of clamp that we use to secure the log. So all it is a sort of a threaded spike, so we can screw it into the log. And that just jams it up onto the posts which are on this other side. So anytime that we want to adjust this log, so roll it, we just loosen these off. And then using something like a cant hook, or if you're lucky enough to have something like a front end loader or a forklift, you could possibly use that, but I'm not. So we just loosen these off. And then using something like this, so this is called a cant hook or a peavey, we just rotate the log. So stick it into the log. And we just lift it. So we have a lot of leverage with a peavey like this, and it just makes the entire process a lot easier. And of course, if you have 2 people, you can get 1 person on each end of the log to do this operation. Okay, so this log is now nice and secure, it's not going to go anywhere, so we can continue cutting it down to a nice, relatively square cant. Okay, so I've rotated it once again. So now I've got the 2 flat and parallel faces sort of on edge. And this is pretty much halfway through the cant process. So now I just need to take a pass of this side until I've got it at least relatively flat again. So I don't care if there's a little bit of bark in there because, well, it's going to get cut out, and those pieces that have bark inclusions can just be ripped to a smaller length once dry. So I'll take a pass on this side until it's, as I say, relatively flat. I'll rotate it 180 degrees, and then I'll have my complete cant, and I can just continue lowering that blade until I'm down to the bottom of the track. So once you've got all of your timber cut, the last thing you need to do is stack it. So if you've got a helper, stack it as you go, it makes it a lot quicker, but if you're by yourself, it's the last thing I do anyway. So the idea in stacking is making sure that you get nice and even airflow. So from the bottom slab, you want about 100 millimeters gap, so bricks are fairly good to space that up. And then from then on, your stickers should be about 20 mil thick, at least thereabouts, and spaced about every 600 mil. So the thicker your wood is, the further that spacing can be, but 600 mil is I think it's a good rough guide. So in this case, I've made 700 mil, but that's only because I didn't have quite enough to do 600 millimeter spacing. Okay, now Jords Woodshop is a weekly woodworking podcast, so if you don't want to miss out on more videos like this one, make sure you do subscribe, so click that button down there. On top of that, I'm also on Facebook, so check out my Facebook page, facebook.com/JordsWoodShop, and I've also got the website, so check that out, as there's some cool stuff on there, including an online store and things where you can buy merchandise and donate to the show and things like that. So many thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.